Hello and welcome to Beamerfolk.
This is my stubble trimmer that has suddenly decided to pack up. It first started going intermittent. It's a WAHL Groomsman 9906. I thought I would make a repair video out of it. So let's have a whale of a time repairing it. It can't be too complicated. It's probably just a motor and a switch, and I suspect it's the switch that's playing up, but I could be wrong. Anyway, let's have a look. Okay, let's get the battery cover off and just demonstrate what's wrong with it. As you can see, it's no motor running. Let's take that out and you can see the battery. These are virtually brand new batteries. They're alkaline AA cells, and there you go. So let's open it up further. This stubble shaver has actually served me well. I think I've had it for about maybe 8 years now. I think there are hidden secret screws in here, and I think you have to take off the little cover at the back here. There we are. And there's the hidden screws, and that sort of cover comes off like that. I didn't break any of the tongs, which is a good idea. And they're the two screws, and I'll just undo those. Okay, let's undo these two screws. Look like Phillips screws. So let's just undo that there. I had this apart once before, but it turned out that the cutting blades at the end here just needed oiling. Well, I've already tried that. It's not. It didn't improve this intermittency. So let's just. That just comes off here. Comes off here with a bit of. Encouragement. That's the cell clip. Excuse me, my screwdriver fell on the floor. I think it's just retained a little bit by these screws still. Well, and there we are. Yeah, so it's just a motor and a switch. Well, this is a bit cheapskate because they've actually used the body of the motor as a connection for the switch. So you really just need a tin of switch cleaner on that to clean it. This is a bit inferior because the body of a motor has never really been designed for part of a switch assembly. So yeah, but what do we expect? I don't know that I paid a great deal for it. I think it was about £20 or something. I'll just clean that switch contact up here, and that's it. It's all fallen apart now. It's a rather delicate little structure, and that's where it rubs to get a connection there. So all I've got to do is put a bit of emery cloth perhaps on that, and put a bit of switch cleaner on it. So that's what I do. I've got a cotton bud here soaked in a bit of methylated spirits. You could use, of course, the isopropanol, but this is methylated spirits, and I use it just to clean off this gunk on here. Like that. And then the switch contacts. This looks that switch assembly looks a bit delicate, but anyway, hopefully it'll go back together again. And there we are. Okay, so let's see whether this works. Okay, well, I'll put the off camera, I'll put the battery clip back in place, the switch back in place. Incidentally, if you haven't got switch cleaner, what is a good idea is putting a bit of graphite from a pencil on that body. I really don't like this body being used as a switch, but you know, that's what it is. So just rub a bit of graphite onto there, and that will help. Okay, so while I'm here, I think what I should do is just clean these cell contacts. Of course, the difference between a cell and a battery is that a battery is an assembly of cells, whereas an individual cell is a cell. Okay, I'll put some batteries back in there and clean up a bit of the debris out of here with a brush, and put it back together again. Well, put it into a state where I can run it. I've just noticed another surface to clean, and that is part of the switch assembly in here. You know, these things are, I suppose, cheap enough to replace the whole thing, but I quite like the idea of not throwing away things that can be easily repaired within half an hour. Okay, so I've got it reassembled. It's a bit hairy. It has a habit of flying all apart at the slightest provocation. So I'll just operate the switch holding everything together and see whether I get... There we are. There we are. I know you're looking forward to it all pinging apart. I know. What I was going to say, I have tried this trimmer with metal hydride rechargeable cells. It doesn't work properly. There's insufficient voltage. They're a lower voltage than standard alkaline, and the motor kind of grinds to a halt at the slightest provocation. It needs that little extra voltage to power the motor properly of an alkaline cell. I tended to like the idea of rechargeable cells in here, but I found that they just gave an inferior performance. Anyway, now I'll properly assemble it back together again and see how it works. Hopefully I haven't damaged anything. Before you finally tighten these screws up, just with a small screwdriver, make sure that this cell assembly contact here is lined up within the groove made for it in the plastic. That is actually lined up. So now I just tighten up these screws, and let's hope that the intermittency that I was experiencing has gone away. If it hasn't gone away, there's something else wrong with it. Don't know quite what that would be, but let's have a go. And there we are. All nicely working. The switch is operating correctly. The switch, incidentally, you've got a short end to the switch, rather delicate switch assembly, and a long end contact on the switch assembly. Make sure that the long contact is here in the nearest the battery, and the short contact is on the motor end, not the other way around. It won't work the other way around. Anyway, so I'm rather pleased with that. That's working. Yes. All I need to do now is figure out how I can operate this with rechargeable cells. And finally, having removed the cells, just put the little plastic, making sure the made in China is at the bottom there, and that should all fit back together and click into place. And there we are. Let's put the cells back in like that. Put the and there we have it. So now I can get back to trimming my stubble.
This is Beamer signing out for now.